It's the second week of the semester. I hope you're raring to go. Hey, welcome everybody to week 2 of College Composition 1. Hope you're doing well. As I write this, it was snowing last time I was upstairs and looked around. I have finished getting your grading for week 1 taken care of, and I have a few things to talk about the grading before we get to talking about your work for the week 2. First off, in terms of the reading reaction, we have a definite schedule we need to follow. You need to have your initial post of 200 plus words done by midnight on Wednesday. You need to read and respond to 2 other people's stuff. Ask them questions, point out fun things, anything like that. You need to do that by noon on Thursday. And then you have by midnight Friday to react to anyone who asked you a question. A few people didn't react to the people who asked them questions and lost points. There were a few people who didn't do their initial post until Friday, close to midnight, and that's way too late for this to really work out for us. We got to stick to a certain level of schedule. Second thing from the grading is that you really need to follow the directions. The things that I ask for whenever you turn in homework. 1, it needs to be turned in as a Word document attachment. Any word processor will turn in stuff as a Word document. And Word is the industry standard. It is the format that all word processors can use. It's the format that all word processors can open. So, turn in your stuff as Word document attachments. You really need to do this instead of just typing in the message box because as a Word document, you can save it. And it's my kind of theory that if you don't save a copy, your computer will die and blow up and eat all your stuff, and then you'll have to do it again. And you don't want that. The second thing is we need to go ahead and get into the habit of having stuff formatted properly. If you go to links in Blackboard, there's a link to how to format papers according to MLA standards. It's written in the syllabus that everything needs to be 12-point Times New Roman for your font. You need to double space all your text. And for this week, if you didn't turn it in as an attachment, I did give you a 0. You need to turn it in as an attachment, and then I'll give you the credit for that. I gave you a pass if it wasn't in Times New Roman or double-spaced, but starting next week, I'm going to require that. So if it's not in proper format, I'm going to make you do it again. I don't love doing this. It causes me more work, but the sooner you get into the habit of having everything in a format you can save and have backups of, the better off we're all going to be. And the sooner you get used to having stuff Times New Roman 12-point, you don't have to adjust how to format a paper if you just go ahead and save it that way to begin with. So that's what we have happened last week, my points in the grading. For this week, there are a few things of note. There are a number of videos to watch. That should probably be your first thing. In particular, there's a video on the syllabus quiz. This is where I go over all of the answers to the syllabus quiz. If you have additional questions, if there's things that you didn't understand just for the syllabus quiz questions or anything, go ahead and send me a message via Remind. If you got stuff wrong, just look out to figure out how it should be, what the correct answer is. I pretty much gave everybody the points because it's more important to me that you actually read through the syllabus. So if you messed up, just get the right answers. You also have Ranging Essays 1. When we do any work with sample student essays, the point isn't to have you perfectly rank everything, but the point is to get you starting to think the way I think when I grade papers. So that might entail having to change your expectations of what a good paper is, having to change your standards. If your answers to Ranging Essays 1 were different than mine, what you need to do is you need to really look at the essays again and try to figure out why what you came up with was different than my perspective. And the idea here is that after doing Ranging Essays 1 and after doing Ranging Essays 2, which we got going on this week, hopefully we're closer to being on the same page. If we all agree on what a good paper is, it's going to be that much easier to get to writing a good paper. So we got that going on. In terms of other stuff we have going on this week, we have Joan Didion's on keeping a notebook. There's speech problems. There's a discussion that'll operate just like last week. We have in addition to the Ranging Essays 2, we have a sample student essay called The Punks of Yesterday and Today. And after the Ranging Essays 2, we're going to be doing about 4 of these sample student essays, actual essays written by actual students, and we're going to analyze them in a little bit more depth. What this will require from you is going through the essay and responding using the document evaluation form. The document evaluation form is a Word document. It's in the same place where the sample student essay is. It has boxes you can fill in. So this is a procedure that you will use whenever you go through sample student writing. Go ahead and just type right in the boxes, save the thing, and turn in that as your reaction to the Punks of Yesterday and Today. I do have a sample filled out essay response form to give you an idea of the level of depth. These are questions designed to get you to think about what makes a good essay, and they're questions that my past students have specifically said, this is the kind of info we want on our own writing. So spend a bit of time and get it right. The assignment requirements say about a paragraph per answer. Basically, I want you to answer each of the questions. I want you to reference specific things that go on in the paper that illustrate your point. Don't just say, this paper sucks. Say this paper sucks because it does blah, and it does it here. Put in the quote. That way I know that you're engaging at a certain level of depth. The other big thing is you're going to start working on narrative essay, your first major assignment. We have the pre-writing going on this week. So reread the reread the narrative essay assignment section in the major assignment sheet. Watch the video on pre-writing 1. We have a different procedure for doing pre-writing for each of our essays, and complete it following those directions, and you can turn that in on Blackboard. The final thing that we got going on this week is we have writing skills builders. I've read a lot of stuff, I've graded a lot of stuff, and in my view, particularly after grading, I grade AP essays each summer, so over the span of about a week or so, I grade like 14 or 1,500 essays. I see a lot of stuff, and it occurred to me one year when I was doing those AP essays that there were 3 big things that separated out great essays from essays. 1 was analogy. 2 was metaphor. And 3 was narrative. We'll talk about narrative this week because the assignment is about narrative. The best essays aren't stories, but they do walk the reader through your argument and give them the same impression of a story. They present an interesting thing. They examine it in depth. They tell us why we should care about it. There's a video we'll watch that really goes over this, but I figured it would be, and we'll do that next week, but I figured it would be a really good idea to give you some practice working on narrative that's not necessarily tied to your essays. So we're going to have 4 narrative writing skills builders. There is a link in the week 2 folder that's got a bunch of pictures in it. I believe there's 6 of them. They may or may not make some level of sense to you. Your job is to put them in some kind of order that makes sense to you, and then tell a short story about them. Write it up. Turn it in. Next week, after I finish the grading, I'll put the best 2 or 3 up, and you'll get to vote on which one of the class's Writing Skills Builder narratives is your favorite, and the winner will get bonus points. So there's a reason to really take this seriously, apart from the fact that working out your narrative skills is going to be something that does directly transfer to the kind of work we're doing in here. So, we got the bit about the grading. Talk to you about that. Got a bunch of videos, watch them, give yourself a new perspective on everything you did last week. We have the Didion discussion. We have the ranging essays number 2 and a full sample student essay, the Punxsutawney Yesterday and Today. We have the narrative essay pre-writing, and we have the Writing Skills Builder narrative. Yeah, there's a certain amount of work, but it's a writing class. You can't really learn how to write without doing writing and reading, so this is what we're doing. If you have any questions, please contact me via Remind. If you're not signed up for Remind yet, go ahead and do so. The directions are in the syllabus, and I've seen your syllabus quizzes, so I know you've looked at your syllabus. Sign up for Remind, and I'm happy to get back to you as soon as I can. Anything comes up, I'm happy to help you. I think that's enough of me babbling for right now, so go ahead and get to work. Hope you have a great week. Talk to me if you need me, and otherwise I will see you in the next video. Thanks a lot.